Number 3, she quote-unquote hates someone so much. Let's go back to that first example when your girlfriend told you that Kevin was getting on her nerves. The reason she does this is to throw you off the scent. She wants you to think, man, she really hates that a-hole Kevin, so you will have no idea that she wants to sleep with him or is sleeping with him. Gentlemen, you need to listen very carefully when your woman talks about a man she can't stand. I can't stand Justin at the coffee shop. Tommy is such an a-hole. This creepy guy at my job looks like a pervert. These are the musings of a female with wet panties, and she's trying to convince you there's no way she'd ever do anything with these guys. But the more a woman talks about how much she doesn't want to hook up with him, the more she indeed wants to hook up with him. He's too short. He's married. He's ugly. Guys, none of that matters. She thinks enough of this guy to mention him to you multiple times. Besides, how does she know Kevin left work early if he's in another department? Which leads me to number 4. She gets irritated when you quiz her on the details. So let's say you ask your girl, well, how do you know Kevin left early? And she responds with, that's a silly question. We work at the same company. Then you follow up with, yeah, but he works in the sales department and you work in accounting. That's on the other side of the building. If she gets irritated and responds with something like, Donovan, we work for the same company. Everybody knows when everybody gets off, then she is definitely hiding something. If she gets pissed off, upset, or irritated when you ask for more information, she is 745% lying about something, at which point you need to quiz her hard for more information. And I'll tell you a quick personal story. I was dating this beautiful Ukrainian girl when I lived in Vegas. Her name was Tatiana. She had a long, platinum blonde hair and the most gorgeous, steely, light blue eyes I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, we dated for a little over 6 months, and one evening I video called her because that's what we always did when we didn't spend the night with each other. Well, this one particular night, it took her a little longer than it should have for her to answer. And when she did, she was on her balcony, somewhere she had never answered a video call from me before. What's more is that she was just closing her back door to her balcony when she picked up. So that told me she did not want to take the call inside. I immediately got suspicious and asked her why she took the call from her balcony. She told me because she wanted to smoke a cigarette. Now, even though she smoked like a chimney, I didn't believe her. So I told her to put the cigarette out and go back inside to talk to me. She said, you're starting to irritate me. I said, I don't care. Put out the cigarette and go back inside. She said, why? I said, because I think you've got someone in your apartment and you don't want him to know you're talking to me. She said, don't be ridiculous. There's no one in my apartment. So I said, prove it. So she angrily puts out her cigarette and went back into her apartment, but just inside the back door. I said, tell me you love me. She said quietly, I love you. I paused for a minute because I didn't expect her to actually say it. It didn't hit me that she had whispered it yet. So she took that opportunity to say with an attitude, what? As if to imply that she had just proved her innocence. I said, walk into your living room and say it louder. She hung up and blocked my number. Long story short, I thought I was her boyfriend, but the entire time, I was the side dude. She was cheating on her boyfriend with me for more than 6 months. The point is that she started to get irritated when I quizzed her on the details and pressed her on her to prove she wasn't lying, which is always a telltale sign she's up to no good. Number 5, her alibi is too specific. This is what happens when your suspicions are too high not to remain silent. You don't want to be the guy who's asking your woman, where were you, who were you with, and what were you doing? Now, if you vetted and trained her properly, you'll never have to do this. But because almost 0 men vet and train properly, the urge to ask this question will hit them at some point. Now, when she's been sleeping with Dave, the unemployed garage band guitar player who may or may not have done amateur adult films, she'll know you're going to quiz her on her whereabouts because she had her phone off for the last 3 hours. She's already got her cover story memorized, and when she tells you, she'll be extremely detailed in her explanation. So when you ask her, where the hell have you been? She'll respond with, well, I left here at 3, I got to Lisa's at like 3:15, from there we went to the mall and went to Forever 21. We spent 2 hours there, then we got hungry and ate at Panda Express at the food court till like 5:30. After that, we went to Macy's and spent a half an hour there. I dropped her off at 6:15, and now I'm here. That's a BS alibi, guys. That detail, the timeline, the exact times, all that is a dead giveaway that she's lying. Girls will also try to overcompensate by giving very little detail so their alibi sounds more believable. Unless she's BPD or Dark Triad, her cover story will either have too much or too little information. Like I said, you never have to memorize the truth. So if your girl's alibi is too detailed or not detailed enough, she is definitely lying.